first week of January, more than 750 Cuban migrants arrived by boat in the Florida Keys.
Buena suerte!
Another 600 were intercepted at sea.
Fucking wild. Yeah. Okay, hermanos. Yes, adios.
They are part of the largest mass exodus from the island since Fidel Castro's revolution.
We've already seen several abandoned rafts and boats and makeshift boats. This is pretty remarkable, right? This is a boat that has a car engine. It appears to have been built from roofing material. This also appears to just be glue that's sticking everything together. And so this shows you the risk that people are willing to take just to make it to the United States.
Cubans have been fleeing the communist regime by boat since the 60s. We call them balseros, or rafters. But as the economic situation has deteriorated in Cuba over the past 2 years, and basic goods became scarce, there's been an uptick of people making this treacherous journey. Since October, the U.S. Coast Guard has intercepted almost 5,000 Cubans, compared to just 838 in all of fiscal year 2021.
So we're in the Florida Straits right now between Key West, the Bahamas, and Cuba. This is the type of crafts that people are taking to trek over 200 miles from the island. They're faced with powerful waves, brutal tides, sharks, and many can't make it.
The surge in arrivals created a humanitarian crisis on the Keys. Governor Ron DeSantis declared a state of emergency, a move that came as a relief to local officials like Republican Mayor Craig Cates.
Thank you to the governor for doing the state of emergency down here. They're sending extra state troopers to help our sheriff's department and our police departments when they do make landings to collect them and process them.
What's the biggest impact the county has felt?
The biggest impact is the sheriff's department not having enough officers to handle all the migrants that are coming ashore. The biggest impact as far as to the environment is all these boats coming ashore, washing up on the beaches.
Has the community reacted in a certain way? I mean, have your constituents been talking about this? What do they say?
Our constituents are worried about the damage to the seafloor and the beaches and the coral because we work so hard to protect it. They do have a compassion for the Cubans coming across because there's a lot of Cubans in Key West. I'm half Spanish myself. And so we understand what they're going through over there and care for them very much. So we want them to make it, but the legal way.
What is the proper way to do it?
Just like our law says, you apply to come to America and you go through the process, which so many people have done.
This idea of the right way to immigrate has long been a Republican talking point, but it's also recently become Biden administration policy. Just days after the mass balsero landings, Biden announced a new rule expanding ways for Cubans, Haitians, and Nicaraguans to apply for asylum from their home countries. But it doubled down on a Trump-era policy, making it much harder for those migrants to seek asylum at a border.
If you're trying to leave Cuba, Nicaragua, or Haiti, do not just show up at the border.
That's a huge change for Cubans in particular, who have long benefited from preferential treatment in the American immigration system, including a much easier pathway to permanent residency than other nationalities. At a Border Patrol processing facility in the Keys, the new policy was already creating confusion.
Okay, parece para atrás. Dos cigarrillos, no encendedores. ¿Quién no tiene pertenencia?
Previously, these detainees would have likely been released on parole, but now their family members were being told they might not get out at all.
¿Les están tratando bien ahí?
Sí.
¿Hace cuánto tiempo llegaron?
Hace 2 días hoy.
¿Les han dicho qué va a ser de su futuro? ¿Van a poder irse? ¿Van a volver a Cuba? We're outside an immigration processing center in Marathon, and as you can see, there's a group of Cuban migrants that have just recently arrived by boat from Cuba. They're being processed right now. The big question is what's going to happen to them. They've been told that they will be released within the next days, but family members that we've met right outside of these gates have been told that they will not be released. ¿Les han dicho algo de eso a ustedes? No. ¿Saben por qué les están diciendo eso las autoridades, que no van a soltar a nadie? No saben, o sea que no les están dando información tampoco.
At the time of this reporting, the migrants remain detained in Florida. Biden's new immigration rules mean that unauthorized Cuban migrants could be subject to immediate deportation and lose the ability to apply for asylum for 5 years. To understand what this means for recent Cuban arrivals as they navigate this new legal landscape, we went to a legal workshop where migrants get help with their asylum claims.
¿Tiene algún récord criminal?
No.
Ok, entonces como le dije, tiene que aplicar por su asilo antes de 1 año y entonces ahí le dejan saber, tienen programas de educación, programas de seguro, diferentes cosas que puede calificar, ¿ok?
Talia Isabel Córdoba Ricardo arrived in the U.S. just hours before President Biden's announcement.
Te salvaste por un día, básicamente.
Ajá.
¿Qué opinas de eso?
Sorprendida. No me lo imaginé.
¿Qué fue lo primero que pensaste cuando lo oíste?
Qué suerte.
Qué suerte, ¿no?
Sí, porque el día antes ya había entrado.
In light of President Biden's new announcement, will the new recent Cuban rafters be treated significantly different from the way that Cuban rafters have been treated historically?
Yes, we're seeing a lot more expedited orders of removal right away, given right when they come into the country. If somebody came in last week, they have a pretty good chance of getting, their residency at a year and a day. But now, we're probably going to see that most people are not being allowed in.
Sorry, I just wanted to add, I think I overheard that you were talking about rafters.
Yeah.
I've seen a few of them come in where they already have an expedited order of removal.
The most recent ones, right?
Yeah, that's what I've seen.
As a lawyer, what are your thoughts on that?
I think he's trying to increase the security at the border. I think he sort of had a good intention, but it's also going to keep a lot of people out. He's putting a big limitation on immigration.
This is a big deal for Florida, where the powerful Cuban-American vote holds an unusual place in state politics. They generally support GOP candidates and their conservative immigration policies, but have diverging opinions when it comes to Cuban migration. It's hard to say how this new policy will sway voters, even ones who get what balseros are going through.
Los dos vinieron de balsa, ahora sabemos que hay muchos balseros cubanos que están viniendo ahora. Hemos visto muchas balsas en los Cayos. ¿Qué se puede decir de lo que han pasado ellos?
Es un peligro, es una locura. Eso es una locura.
¿Qué vivió usted?
Aquí vivo un milagro.
O sea que el hecho de que estén ustedes aquí es un milagro.
El sol. Las horas, los tiburones dando vueltas. Los tiburones tú los ves que... Dándote vueltas, esperando que saquen. Conmigo venía uno y se cayó en la madrugada. No lo vimos más.
O sea que murió.
Murió, se lo comieron. No lo vimos más. Nosotros una mañana amanecimos con dos tiburones dando vueltas y nos salvamos porque vinieron 3 delfines. El delfín te defiende.
¿Qué piensan ustedes de las nuevas políticas de Biden? ¿Qué piensan?
Yo pienso que está bien que lo haga esa porque es un peligro venir para acá. Hacer eso es una locura. Yo creo que no. Porque hay muchos en la frontera que han vendido sus casas, han vendido todo su dinero. Cuando vuelvan a su país, una goma van para la calle. Para comprar política. Porque Obama fue el que quitó el pie seco, pie mojado. Y ahora él ya es Alice. También mira la política que puso. Ya los cubanos no tienen privilegio.
No, eso es histórico.
Histórico. Nada más que lo tenían los cubanos.
I'm Michael Learmonth, editor-in-chief of Vice News. Too often, traditional news outlets shy away from the real stories and experiences of those living through global conflicts. Not Vice News. Our reporters are on the ground, fearlessly covering the human stories that shape our world. You and millions of others can continue to read, watch, and listen to Vice News for free. But we hope you'll consider making a one-time or ongoing contribution of any size at vice.com/contribute. Every contribution, no matter how big or small, helps support the journalism Vice News brings to you every day. Thank you.